Hello students. Yesterday we have discussed about the refraction of light, and there we have seen the lens formula and how can we formulate that with the help of geometrical optics. As here you have seen that we are using continuously the geometry to understand the properties of light. So I think that is now completely clear. So let's start to discuss the new concept here, that is how can we make the lens, what kind of formula we are using for that, how much thin or thick lens we have to make. So these all we are doing by using the lens makers formula. So let's discuss now what is the lens makers formula. We will again start with the formulation of this by using the geometrical optics again. And for the geometrical optics, as we have discussed refraction at spherical surfaces, so that formula we will use here also. So first of all, here some of the assumptions again we will made. So let's see first what kind of assumptions we will made here for the understanding in lens maker formula. The first one, as a number of times we have used already while understanding refraction or reflection, that was aperture should be very small. So here as aperture is very small, it means that we can measure all the distances. Suppose this is our, we have the convex lens, and in this convex lens only I have made this thick to make you understand. If aperture we will take small, then this is the pole of the lens, the line that is passing through it, this is principal axis, and these 2 points that are on the spherical surfaces of the lens, that is called optical centers. So here the assumption that we will make, that is all the distances that will be measured from these optical centers, that will be equal to the distance measured from these poles. So it means that whether we will measure the distance from pole or these optical centers, that will not make difference. Means here this thickness we are taking as negligible, we are going to neglect this thickness here. You don't have to add this distance or this distance in the distance that we will measure, like we will measure the object distance, image distance, focal length, all these we will take from this one. Or optical center if you are taking, then you can convert it into the distance from the poles also. The first assumption, I think that is clear. The second assumption is here all the objects that will lie on the principal axis here, that will be taken as a point object. Means we will neglect the size of the object. Whatever the object we have put, whatever the height or size of it, we are going to neglect it. We are going for the study of lens maker going to take as a point object, that is as a point that lying on this one. Clear? Next one thing, we are going to consider this lens is made up of 2 convex spherical refracting surfaces. One is this one and second is this one. So image formed by the first one refracting surface will be object for the second refracting surface. Means this surface will not see this one as an object, but it will see the image of first one as the object here, and the final image will be formed by this second one. So in this case we will get 2 images, that is formed by the first refracting surface and the second refracting surface. Next one here assumption, that is all the angles, that is incident angle and refracting angle made from the normal, that is drawn from the center of curvature of these spherical surfaces, that will be taken as very small, so that we can write sine or tan or any one values equating to the theta only. Means sine theta you can equate to sine only theta, tan theta you can equate to theta. Means these assumptions we are also going to use here. Next one thing that we are going to use, this is always objects, if we have object then image we will get, that is the concept of symmetrical optics for this case. So I think first of all, this is now all the assumptions are very clear to you. All the angles are very small here, the distances will be measured from the poles, object will be taken as the point object, 2 refracting surfaces we have. So this is all we have. Now if any object O that is kept at this principal axis in left side of this lens, then light will pass through this one and it will fall on this. Now as we are going to take it as a thin, that's why I have shown this light fall at this one, and the final image that is obtained on this this side convex lens, this is I, and if this is P we have written, then PO will be object distance, PI will be the image distance, and focal point of this convex lens you can. So first of all, sign convention you should have to keep in your mind. That should be totally clear where we have to take negative or positive. Later I will tell you that one also. But now, as I have told you, we have two refracting surfaces. So light will pass through first refracting surface, then the image of first one will be formed, and that image will be the object for the second one. So let's just make this figure in two parts for the two refracting surface separately. So let's see for the first one. First refracting surface is this one only we have. So if we will draw the principal axis, this is optical center for us, and this optical center, suppose I am going to write it as B, and now we have an object O here. This is the center of curvature. Then here a normal we can draw. So this is the normal CN that is drawn on this. Now light will go and this will fall on this, and here angle of incidence will be formed here. Now after this angle of incidence here, this light will feel refraction, and after refraction an image will form here. That image we are going to take as I dash. So I dash is formed here, and the angle between this two one, that is taken as R1 suppose. So this is angle of refraction, this is this one. For the first refracting surface, I think this is now clear, and this distance is taken as radius of curvature, and this one is obviously this distance OB, that will be equal to the object distance. For the second surface, let's see what will be the ray diagram. So this is our second refracting surface. This was the first, this was the second, and now this is the principal axis that is passing through this. This is our optical center, and this I dash will be now as the object for this second one. And this ray, actually this will not fall here, this will feel here by this one, because this is just made up here. So you can see that this is coming from this side now on this spherical surface. So we will just bring our light from this side for this one. I think that is now clear by this figure, that's why I haven't rubbed it. So this is clear. Next one, if you will make now the this one normal to this surface, then its normal will be drawn as, because its center of curvature will be now this side. So you can just draw the normal to this, and this is the center of curvature, this is normal. So this will make some angle by this. So suppose this is making some angle R2, that is the incident angle on the second one, and now after refraction it will go on this to form the image. So if you will see, this is the forming image, this is image I. So suppose this is our point A, this is our point M we have, and this angle that is making from the normal final angle is angle of refraction R. So this is the separate diagram to understand in better way the refraction of light at two spherical surfaces. By the first spherical surface you can understand the image formation, that is I dash. Here should be I, not I dash. And this I dash as it is image for the second one, so I, that is image, will be formed here. So these two, I think first this is now clear. And one more thing here, let's write down for this one, this radius of curvature is R1, and this is also C dash we can write. So this radius of curvature is R2 for this. Clear, I think. Now as the refractive index in this case, this is the N1, that is the media before this one, and this is the refractive index of lens, this is N2. Now this will be obviously N2 and this will be N1. That should be clear because this is the lens we have N2, this is now N1. So we could write now, we can write easily now the formula that we have derived already for refraction at spherical surfaces, that I have told you, and I think in last previous classes. So you can see that also. So how to derive that one, and we have used the geometrical optics there. So directly the geometry of that derivation we are going to use, and directly formula I am going to write here for the refraction at these two spherical surfaces. So for the first spherical surface, if I will give the name to it, so NB, suppose this is our NB, P we can also write it. So this is NBP or NBQ, you can also write as P is given for the pole, and also here this is MA, this is suppose R we have, so NAR. So post refracting surface for this NBQ. On this refracting surface, if we will utilize the formula for the refraction at spherical surface, then students we can write first N1, this is N1, this is upon OB plus N2 upon BI1. You can use actually this is N1 upon U plus N2 upon B. So here U is OB, B is BI dash. So directly I have written is BI dash actually I have used, and that's left side. Next one is this is equal to N2 minus of N1 upon the center of curvature of this is BC, or this is called, no. So this is our post equation that we have written for this spherical surface, and for the second one let's write in the same manner. So this is our second one, that is MAR. On this spherical surface, if we will write the same formula, so that same formula will give us value, this is minus of N2 upon, this is if suppose the value here I am going to write suppose Di, so this will be equal to Di dash. So if we will write actually D here, then you can write, but here as we are going to measure all the distances from this one, so U will be as this object, suppose we are going to consider it as I dash, this is the object for second one. So this object is as a distance from this one second refracting surface from this point A. So we can write here AI dash for this one. So first I think this is now clear why this is minus, as this all distance is left side of this, that's why we have taken it minus for this one. So this is minus N2 upon AI1. Second one, this is plus of N2 upon, now image distance is from here to here, this is AI, and this will be now equal to N2 minus of N1, radius of curvature, that is AC dash. So these are now two equations that we will use here for the formula derivation. So note down these two equations first, that is very important to derive here the concepts. So I think you have noted. Then I am going to just rub this one first. Now this is now. I just needed figure, but here due to lack of space I have just rubbed it. So as you have figure, then let's see now in the figure. First one, if you will see just these one, then your distances you can see, and as in starting I have told you, if we have this kind of lens, then these are two optical centers. One is we have given B and second is given to the A name. In your figure you can see these two, and now as this is the line that is passing through it, this is called the pole. So as I have told you, as this thickness is not very much, so we can just think here in the limitation just now I have told you, A, B, both point will be as the coinciding point of P, or all the distances that we have measured from the B or A, that will be taken from the P automatically. So it means here these two distances B I dash and A I dash, means from B we have measured the I dash, from A we have measured the same point I dash, both will be equal here in this case. So B I dash, that should be equal to A I dash with the help of our assumptions here. So now if we will write in place of anyone, if suppose in this one I have written just B I dash. Now if we will add these two equations, then these two terms will be cancelled out. Now in the next step, let's add these two equations, so these will be cancelled out, and we can now add this one. So after adding this equation and this equation, we have obtained N1 upon OB plus N2 upon AI, and this is now equal to N2 minus N1, that will be common from here. So this is N2 minus of N1. In bracket we will have 1 upon BC plus of 1 upon AC dash. Now our work is completed almost. We have to just write only the values with the help of sign conventions now. So if we will write down now values and also we will use the sign convention, then that time as OB, this is the object distance from the first refracting surface. So it means that the object distance that is equal to u, already you know that. And one more thing, as it is in left side, then you could write in this place, this is equal to minus of u. Next one, as AI, this is the image distance from the second refracting surface, and this is on the right side. In figure you can say here in this side I we have got, and in this side object O we will have. So this is our figure for the refraction. So for this we can use the sign convention, as all the right side values will be taken as positive, left side will be taken as negative according to quadrant rule that we are using here in this case. Next one, as OB and AI we have written now. Then BC and AC dash, these two values if you will write, then BC, this is the radius of curvature of first refracting surface that I had written R1. You could see the figure now. Next one, we have AC dash. So AC dash is the distance of center of curvature from the second refracting surface, and that I have written, this is R2. So all the values now we have. One more thing, if here you will utilize also the sign convention, then for the first refracting surface, this is our first refracting surface, this side we are getting the center of curvature. So this is our right side. For this one this will be positive, but for the second refracting surface, as we are obtaining our center of curvature on left side of this, so that will be taken as negative. So this is the most important thing in geometrical optics or ray optics. While you are going to understand it, sign convention, geometry, that should be clear to you in a very clear manner, so that you could write this. Otherwise all the derivations, all the formula that you are using, that will be wrong completely from here. So just keep these factors in your mind. Now let's write down these values in our equation. So first one, if you will write in place of OB, so this will be equal to minus of u. In place of AI, if you will write, this is now V. In place of BC and AC, so in place of BC you will write 1 upon R1. In place of AC, if you will write minus of R2, then in the place of plus 1, this will be minus of 2. Clear? Now in the next one, as by the help of I think in one thing I have written down here, here should be N1. As this final object, final image we are getting in the first even media N1, so that should be N1 upon V. So if you have written, then just correct it now. So this is now these two one we have got, and N1 we can take common from here. So if we will take N1 as the common, so we will have the formula 1 by V minus of 1 by U. This should be equal to N2 minus of N1 1 upon R1 minus of 1 upon R2. And now as you know, by the help of Lenz's formula, just in previous class we have discussed it, that is equal to 1 upon V minus 1 by U. This is equal to what? This is equal to focal length, means 1 by F. This is F is the focal length of the convex lens that we have used here. Students, you can also formulate the same formula for the concave lens. So just try to do it by yourself to be more precise, to be more clear about the refraction of light at the spherical surfaces, and for the lens maker formula, that is same for the both of the lenses. So just try to understand that one also. So you could do in the same manner that we are doing here. So for the convex lens I have done. So as this is now formula we have derived already, and you know already very well this one. So we could try, we can write from here, this is 1 by V minus 1 by U. In place of this we can write 1 upon F. So this is 1 by F. Finally this is equal to N2. Here also one more this is N1 we have got. N2 minus N1 into 1 upon R1 minus of 1 upon R2. So in next line, if you will write, then N1 you can take this side. So this will be upon of n1, and you could divide these two, then here it will be n2 minus n1 minus of 1. So directly I am going to write this one also. So this is n2 minus n1 minus of 1 from here. So here as this equations you could write. So this is our final equation for the Lense-Maker formula. And one more thing, as I have told you the reversibility of light and how can we write these two one. So let's write down in the more precise form this equation. In the place of n2 upon n1, as we can write here, this is equal to 1 and 2. As light is going from first media to the second media, so that I have told you how to write this one. This is 1 to 2, and in minus of 1, this is 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2. So this equation that you have, this is now called the Lense-Maker formula or refraction by the lens. So this formula we are using to make the lens. So I think this is now clear, very clear this is. Next one, as if you will write suppose n2 minus n1, n2 by n1, you could write also the n, that is absolute refractive index, that is relating the two refractive indices. So n, sometimes you could see in your books that is n minus 1. So don't be confused for that one. That is written for the n2 upon n1. So this one is, I think, clear. Now next one thing, let's derive the Lense formula by using this one. How can we actually use it as an ideal formula? So you can also derive the Lense formula. So let's derive it, derive the Lense formula from here also. So just now, as we had written, the value of n1 upon OB plus n1 upon AI, that was equal to minus of n1 upon AI, that was equal to 1 upon f. So that is also the proof of here by using this one. So this is, I think, whole of this now clear. And also for the lens, as we are not taking two refracting surfaces, then this will be equal to obviously 1 upon r1, that will be equal to 1 upon 2 there. So that will be equal to 0. So you can also use this one. Now as these are all clear, then next one, how the Lense-Maker formula, or whenever we are designing the lens, how it is depending on the refractive index. So you can see by this formula, whenever the refractive index of the lens or the material that you are using, as n1 is the refractive index for the air or for the outer surface from where light is coming, but it is coming to our lens that is made up by the refractive index and material that has refractive index n2. So obviously this n2 we can choose to increase our focal length or the range according to the just choice of this n2. Also the lens will be varying, we can make the varying focal length convex lenses easily from here. So I think this is now clear. How can we change the focal length, how we are obtaining actually the varying focal length by the lenses. So this is the that's why it is called Lense-Maker, because how can we know which kind of materials we have to use and what will be difference there by this changing refractive index, so that you can see from here. One more thing, as you are making the these two refracting surfaces, then their radius of curvature, what you have to put and what kind of the value for the focal length you needed, you can also put according to this one. Means you can take the refracting surfaces according to your own use to vary the focal length. So that's why whenever you will change the material, you will change these radius of curvatures, then that time obviously focal length will be changed, and varying focal lengths lenses will be available for you for the better use. Now after these all discussions, let's discuss what is the power of a lens. So this one topic or more we will discuss today. So what is now power of the lens? So power means by name as it is clear, we are going to talk for the ability for something. So like power, you know, ability to do work. Here also what we are doing exactly by the lens. So lenses, as you are seeing, some of the lenses are conversing the light, some of the lenses are diverging the light. Convex lens is used to converse the light, while concave lens are going to diverge the light. So it means that how much able a lens to converse or diverge the light, that is called its power. So means how much the ability to do its work, and its work is to converse or diverge the light. So you can define easily the power of the lens by the conversing and diverging ability of a lens, that is called power. And also the conversing and the diverging ability is related to its focal length. So power is also related to the focal length. So let's see here how can we write the formula for the power of the lens. So in definition form, first of all, physical significance I have told you. How can we formulate actually the formula for power? That is defined by, power of a lens is defined as the tangent of the angle by which it converges or diverges a beam of light falling at unit distance from the optical centers. So if we have a lens, suppose this is our convex lens, we have, this is principal axis now, and whenever parallel light that will comes to it, and you know that every parallel light will pass through the focal length point of the lens here. So this is the focal point. Now our definition is saying that tangent to the angle that is formed for the that is light falling on which point. So in the point F it is falling, and if you will see the angle, suppose this angle is delta. So now if we will take the tangent of this one, tan delta, so this is called the power of the lens. Means how much ability to converge the light in this case. Similarly for the concave lens you can see it for the diverge the lens. So angle of conversion or diversion here, about that is called relating the power of the lenses here. Now as this distance, if it is our P, this is suppose N we have, so then PF, that is the length of the or distance of focal point from the pole, that is called focal length, you know already. So if you will write down, and one more thing I have told you, from the unit distance, this is falling at the lens from the unit distance, at the unit distance from the pole, means this Pn, that here in definitions we are writing this is unit value, this is unity. So if you will formulate the tan delta now by the using trigonometry, then that is tan delta is equal to perpendicular upon base. So perpendicular is we have, this is Pn, base we have, this is Pf. So tan delta, that can be written as Pn upon Pf, and from here as Pn has value 1 unity, and Pf, now this value is f. So it means that the power of the lens is the reciprocal of the focal length in meters, and in centimeter whenever you are write, then here it will should be 100. So that will be multiplied, just divided by 100, and that will come here. So that is called 100 upon f centimeter or 1 by f meters. So this is the reciprocal of focal length. Easily by this means if you know the focal length of any lens, then power you can just understand easily. Means less the focal length of the lens, greater is the ability to converge the light for the convex one. Less the focal length of the lens, greater will be the ability to diverge the light for the concave lens. So this is our concept to define the power of the lens. I think that is now clear. Next one, this is the same procedure that we are using while making the specs that we are using. So for the specs, whenever the focal problem we have, then that time we are trying to just to increase the power of the lenses by using this concept, by changing the focal length of our contact lenses or our specs that time. And also just now, as we have written the lens maker formula, so by using that one, how can you calculate the power? By using different terms. So 1 by f, that was equal to 1 N2 minus of 1, this is 1 upon R1 minus of 1 upon R2. So this will be equal to P upon P is equal to this one will directly. So by using lens maker also you can calculate power, or if you know the refractive indices that you are using for two different medias and you know the radius of curvature, then you can also calculate. Means if you are just constructing any lens or any aspect, then that time which kind of just glasses you have to make or lenses you have to put, then for that lenses what is the necessary radius of curvature you can put here, and what is the necessary medium you have, just put all the values and see what whether the power is according to your own need or not. And if it is not in your own need, then that time you can, as material is already constant and its value is constant, this power that you have needed, put it here, and after that calculate the value of 1 upon R1 minus 1 upon R2. Now whenever you will calculate it, the different values give to them, and according to that you can design your contact lenses or you can design the lenses of the specs. So this is the way in which we are using this lens maker formula in our daily life. So that is now I think clear. So rest of the things about this lens maker formula, like how can we understand the magnification here, means enlarged or diminished image we will get and when we will get it. So let's see that in next class, and also we will see now the combination of lenses, that time number of lenses we are combining. So let's see that in next class. I think for today the lens maker formula that we have studied, that is very clear now. So let's end our class here guys. Thank you.